Hey guys, welcome yet to another cybersecurity and GRC session. And I am always looking forward to having these conversations, as most persons are aware that I am one of those individuals who are always passionate about the cybersecurity and GRC in particularly. And as we are specifically going to be diving into looking at the realities that are associated with becoming a GRC specialist or a GRC analyst. And this is normally, I see this as an opportunity or as an avenue that persons who are seeking to build their skills in the cybersecurity space, then this is an avenue that you can actually use to take your cybersecurity skills to the next level. I mean, there are so many things, there are so many avenues that you can actually uh, advance in as it relates to becoming a cybersecurity professional within an organization. So today we seek to start a series, and that's the important thing about this session is that this is going to be a series broken down in various steps, right? So we seek to start a series like none that you have actually seen before. And here is the reason why I say that. You have many resources, there are many GRC, courses, and there are many programs, there are many advice within the industry as it relates to if it is that you want to go into the GRC space. There are many professionals within the industry that will definitely provide you with a number of advice that can actually be used to take your career in terms of what it is to expect and all of those. However, over the next past week, sorry, the next few weeks to come, then myself and Pradeep, that's Pradeep Kushwa, we're going to be uh, going beyond the general things. And the interesting thing about this is that Pradeep is someone who actually reached out to me and said, what can I do? How can I help? And this is one of the things that, guys, when it comes on to building your cybersecurity skills, it's always good to reach out, to connect, to find persons who are actually working within your space. You will, do not have to have all the necessary skill set, but the idea is that you want to develop the experience so that you can actually excel within your career path as a cybersecurity or GRC professional. And that's one of the main aim of actually doing this. So you'll be seeing both of us, Pradeep and myself, and within the next few seconds or minutes, then Pradeep will actually be introducing himself as well, talking, sharing a little bit about his background and what it is that he hopes to achieve by doing I mean, adding its various value in terms of participating and contributing to this overall effort. As one of the main things behind Cyber JA is all about creating that space where we can actually grow and excel our skills within the cybersecurity space. So, with that said, then what we're going to be doing is going beyond general things, right? So we are going to be taking things a little bit further, not just to provide advice about GRC or to talk about um, doing X or doing Y, but we actually want to look at the realities that are associated with that particular job role itself and going into the details. And as we go along, you're definitely going to be seeing the outcome of this is for you to actually, at the end, is for you to better understand and be able to execute the various job roles, job requirements based on these various job descriptions. And what I've done is pretty much look at a number of these job descriptions, what it is that they're actually asking for. So we are working from a more structured approach in terms of looking at organization, what it is that they actually want you to do as a GRC analyst, as a GRC specialist, as a GRC professional within an industry. And when we actually look and compare based on research that I've done, there are a number of common things that actually stands out. And we're going to be pulling those elements of all of these job descriptions so that you can actually apply for these roles and therefore be in a position to actually add these various skills to your resume to say that you are aware of these things and you're also able to execute these roles, right? So as we go along, then we are going to be tearing this thing apart, line by line, looking at requirements, looking at the skill set, um, looking at all the elements of a particular job description, what it is that they're asking for, and actually tailoring our skill to align with those elements to build our competence in those areas. So that at the end of the day, then you're able to at least itemize these things on your job description. You're able to document to say that I've actually attended X amount of sessions as it relates to understanding the complexities or the requirements of acting in the role of a GRC analyst or a GRC specialist within an organization. So before I actually get into the actual realities of looking at the job descriptions to see what it is that we are working with, then Pradeep at this point will actually take us just to give us an idea in terms of some of those common skill sets as it relates to a GRC specialist skill set certification. And he will pretty much walking through a pretty, I would say, well organized document that outlines a number of these areas that one ought to be familiar with. And there are so many resources. And as I go along, I also will be pointing you to a number of sources, freely available sources that you can actually capitalize on to be aware, and not only to be aware, you want to go beyond just being aware, but being able to look at these, for example, standards, compliance, regulations, requirements, and to be able to say, I understand the requirements of this compliance standard. I know how to operate and build an overall compliance program. So all of these things I will actually be walking through over the course of the next coming weeks, being able to go into our organization and take on the responsibility of building, for example, an entire compliance program as a GRC professional, being able to deal with your risk management, being able to execute an IT audit, IT control, general controls, all of these elements we are going to be exploring over the next coming weeks. So guys, definitely want to stay tuned, stay connected. I mean, share this with someone else within the community as we seek to increase, improve, and build our skill set as cybersecurity professionals within the industry. That's one of the main purpose, being able to connect. And for sure, as I go along, I'll be providing various pointers, tips, and also to connect you with also other persons, other platforms. There are so many presentations that are actually done as it relates to the GRC space. So it's all about us as practitioners giving back to see how well we are able to empower each other along the way to build our skills and be of value to organizations and individuals within the cybersecurity and GRC space. So Pradeep, it's over to you, my friend. So give us just a little bit about you. I mean, then you can actually share with us the details. If it is that you want me to share from my side the article, or you can actually present from your side.
Thank you so much, Rich. As Rich was telling, I reached out to him. So it's more about when you want to grow, you might be doing good, or you might be expert in your area, but the world is beyond what you do, right? So you need to reach out to the people, you need to learn, you need to teach or gain the knowledge. So this is how I wanted, and the willingness is something which help anybody to grow in any area. It's not just about the ECRC or the cybersecurity we are talking, but yeah. So this is the Rich, like he allowed me to be here and talk about the roles and responsibilities and the skills needed for the GRC specialist or the analyst. So little bit I will talk about me. I have been working in EGRC space or in about it's been about 12 plus years. I have worked on multiple tools, technologies, and relevant skill sets, a couple of automations, and a lot of other things. So, in specific to the EGRC specialist role, what we need, what skills are needed, what are the technologies used, what are the trending in the market. I will, Rich, maybe you can present. I will just go over the things if
Okay,
you would
sure.
like. Yeah.
Me
So
quickly.
yeah, so folks, I will be talking more specific to the IT space because my entire experience is all about the IT, not the business side, or not the analyst side. Basically, it's IT infrastructure and what technologies, what tools we need, what skills is required, and how, all sort of things.
Okay, great. Let me quickly jump right across. Okay, so there we have the article that we are working with.
Okay, so hope I'm audible, loud and clear. Um, so, so in any IT role, if you want to be part of any role in IT industry, be a developer, um Java developer, .NET developer, infrastructure manager, or anything, or in any of the jobs, there are certain common skills anybody need to have. Certain number of experience based on the role, what is the requirement, if it is junior, if it is senior, if it is mid level, based on the requirement, what is the level of experience, maybe 2 years, maybe 5 years, 10 years, if you're directors, more years. um, you need to have certain certifications based on the requirement of the job, and you need to have the analytical abilities. um, you need to be willing to learn because certain things are industry specific. You might be working from a number of experience, you might have like 20 years, 30 years, but when you go to new organization, you will have to learn their policies, their structure, their infrastructure, right? So 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 that is that willingness to learn should be there. Competencies, you should be competent enough in your area. For example, if you're applying for EGRC, you there will be a number of applicants. You need to uh, come on the top within those. Um, you need to have certain advanced IT skills. Um, you need to have certain certifications, as I told. And then if I come down to EGRC specific, left side we have the common skill which we need for any role. But if I talk about specific to EGRC, we need to have the skills or the knowledge regarding the GRC. GRC stands for governance, risk, and compliance. So governance is something how organization work, right? It's the way any organization work. For example, uh, and for example, if I talk about the physical security, so you need to have the access card to enter in the building. um, in order to log into the in order to log into the intranet, you need to have certain IDs. So this is something, this is somehow something, how the organization is established and how they work. And regarding compliance, um, so you, in the governance, you have some policies, procedures, and processes established. uh, those are the, I just talked about two, but this is very vast. And it depends on the department to department also. So in order to follow those the policies and processes, uh, you need you need basically somebody need to follow those policies and processes, right? Those should be the compliance with those rules and regulations within the organization. And then there comes risk. So there are certain organizations which certify that you are compliant to certain ID standards or certain organization standards like NIST, ISO, COVID. So uh, if somebody doesn't follow those processes within the organization, what could be the risk associated? Maybe the monetary, maybe the image related, maybe whatsoever it is. um, and then to mitigate those risks, you need to have certain policies again back. So back it's all circle. You need to keep on working, improving the organization, the policies and processes. So this is generic about the EGRC, but you need to have understanding. You need to have some certification. Maybe you need to have maybe a number of experience of working in GRC. If you could move to the next slide,
Okay,
Rich.
sure.
And then if like I said, you need to be compliant with respect to certain policies, right? How do we make sure somebody is compliant? uh, how do the director or the CEO will know that they have 10,000, 20,000 of employees, they are compliant to those policies and processes? They need to generate certain reports, right? So the next skill set talk about the reporting. You need to have some kind of reporting experience, not some, depending on role, what kind of reporting tool they use, what type of report they need. So if that skill set matches, for example, um, Rich is owning a company and they use Tableau for reporting, right? In addition to the EGRC tools. So one must have the knowledge of Tableau. They may ask the Tableau certifications. If they use Python, then they may ask the Python experience, Python programming skills. There are other tools other than these listed here. There are common tools: SAP Business Objects, Power BI. There are a lot of tools in the market. So idea we are talking here is just uh, what is the skills needed, what is the tool needed, um, and of course analytical and design skills are needed to design the types of reports. There are tools which gives uh, uh, just ready-made reports. You just need to feed the data and choose your design, what type of report you want. So this is about the reporting skill we need. Tableau is the one which is highly used in market. So SAP BO is one of them. Power BI is also highly used in market. So if you have experience in both of two, three, that's more. And Python is something everybody accepting now, right? So if you don't have the Python skill, start working on those. Get some, go to some school, some training, or just do it by yourself in your space. Um, so that's about the reporting skill we need for EGRC specialist. Uh, Rich, if you could move on to the next slide, please. Yeah, so this is the GRC tools. There are a number of tools in market, but the Gartner is the organization which gives the, which is the leader, which is the what tools are in market and what is being used most. So, for example, if I talk about the leaders, who are the leaders in EGRC space, Nasdaq EYs. Currently, it is um, sold to Sai Global. Uh, so this is widely used. Metric Stream is one of the other tool. Archer is one of another tool which is used for EGRC. So these are the inbuilt applications. They give you the package. You just need to feed your data you need to design, you need to customize is as per your organization need. So they may ask experience. If this company is using metric stream or SAS or IBM, so he may need experience related to that particular tool. So most of the times, because this EGRC space is new, so most of the time if they don't find metric stream skill available, they may consider the candidate who have Archer, or they or any other EGRC tool, basically not specific to. So if they don't find the right candidate in the market, and these tools of course require a lot of work, a lot of security, because those sometimes those are um, on the cloud, so you have to make sure that your data is secure. You need to have the proper visibility of those hosted application. If it is hosted in your system, in your organization, then of course you need to have your own controls, security policies, in order to be efficient. The tool sometimes if it is not loaded, you're using metric stream and it is overloaded, you have hosted a number of applications and the performance is poor, then you need a team to improve the performance. So there are n number of requirement or roles can be created based on the need. If I talk about the security, then they may hire some cyber security candidate. If I talk about the reporting needed, then they will of course need the reporting skills candidate. So you can choose your path where you want to go. If it is the hosting or customizing application or the infrastructure management, then you need experience in those areas too. These are the various tools used in the market as of now. At present, there are other tools too, but these are the leaders and challengers um, as per the Gartner 2015. So, Rich, if you could move down to the next slide. And of course, any IT application need a database. So one must have knowledge on the database, because database is common for any application, right? So the leaders in databases are Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL, Postgres, HANA. So you can have one or combination of multiple tools, but the query or the structure remains the same, right? So you need to pull the data and feed it to the downstream, upstream. So the GRC, like GRC is not specific to any department in the organization. For example, uh, the bank, any bank of America, it will have their own sales team, it will have their own HR department, it will have their own the banking, um, and they will have their own IT. So they need to integrate the system, they need to get the data, feed the data to the EGRC application from various tools, or send the data to the various departments. For example, HR need certain reports, so uh, they may need the integration from your database to their database, HR department database within the bank. So you will need certain ETL tools or certain integration tools. Um, the tools which are used widely are Informatica, uh, uh, Pentaho, uh, Data Stays, and there are a lot of other tools, Telnet. So they may need specific skill. This skills cannot be flipped, so, for some reason. Um, if they need Informatica architect, then you must have the uh, experience and the knowledge on Informatica, certain certifications. You cannot fill it with Aluma or some other tools, because they are specific. It depends. If the role is junior, then they may ask one or other tool. So it again depends on what is the requirement. So if you have one or other tools that that benefits, and that obviously give advantage or increases the chance um, for you. And database is like I discussed, you must have 2 or 3 databases experience at present. uh, Rich, next slide, please. Sometimes the organization, if they are hosted on cloud, then they may ask certain experience, certain certification, for example, AWS certification or the Azure, or whatever they are hosting on. So this is not, you know, compulsory or mandatory skill, but if the organization need it, then obviously it is needed. And it's nice to have, basically, because all the organizations are moving towards the clouds. So it's nice to have the cloud skill set. You can learn by yourself or do certifications and add it to your resume. That definitely add more weightage, because in future down the line, 5-10 years, everything going to be cloud. um, and of course you need to have certain software development methodologies. For example, agile, everybody is following agile nowadays, so you need to have tool experience, Jira, lean kit, or there are a number of tools available. So Jira is the most common which is used in any organization. um, but they, of course, they may be using any other tools. um, uh, and the industry is moving towards the DevOps also. So they don't want anybody to work only on the development or the customization part. They need somebody to have knowledge on reporting also. They may need somebody to have knowledge on or experience on testing also. In that way, it will have more visibility within the organization. It will have more, if you have multi dimensional experience and skill set, then you will be considered the best, because you will have better understanding of the system. So DevOps is something, the continuous development and testing, release management, monitoring on the systems. So this is what I had today to discuss with you guys. But if you have any specific question, as Rich mentioned, you guys can reach out to us. Or if you have something to tell us, we are specifically me, I'm happy to learn from you, because this is how I reached out to Rich. So both ways, if you want to connect, I'm happy to come via Rich. Yeah. Thank you, Rich, for your opportunity. I will hand it over to you.
Okay, Grace and Pradeep. So for sure, guys, and you have Pradeep pretty much outlining a number of the skill sets. I mean, as it relates to space, talking about EGRC. And I mean, many times when you're in an organization, then you have those various platforms, those various tools that you have to use in terms of putting data into these systems that organizations have. Many organizations are actually moving towards having things more on various platforms that are used to streamline the various operations that actually take place within their organization. So persons are actually going beyond just having papers or working with Excel sheet. But for example, there are so many GRC tools platforms that are being used. So understanding the concept behind GRC, understanding the various tools that exist is very important. And as he rightly outlined in this um, diagram itself, that's pretty much breaks out when you talk about governance, when you talk about risk, when you talk about compliance, all of these working together to provide that GRC machinery within an organization. And there are also a number of other models that are used. For example, the OSIG um, model that is used to achieve GRC capabilities within an organization. So those are a number of things that you guys can actually think about. All right, guys. So let me quickly just share with you the details of an actual GRC role, and also highlight some of the elements that are requested, for example, by an employer. And then in the coming weeks, what we're going to be doing is actually breaking this apart and seeing how well we are able to build on these necessary skill sets that are required to, for example, apply for this role successfully. So let me just quickly share. Right. So for example, in this case, let me see if I can maximize this just a little. Right. For example, this is a particular job role for a it's a GRC specialist job role. Right. So it's an actual job role itself. And it starts with the scope, so that's the scope of the job role. The IT, which is the IT GRC specialist, is responsible for ensuring that this X company IT operations are aligned with its overall business goals, comply with regulatory requirements, and effectively manage risk. Right? So that's the main role of this individual. In the event that you decide to undertake this particular job role, right? And from here we have a number of job roles. Just to quickly, so you have a number of job roles, and you have the skills, which is then broken down into your technical skills, those art skills. Then it goes down to your soft skills and also extra prerequisites. All right, so let me go back to the top of this. So in this, your responsibilities as a GRC professional, in this case, they are asking that you develop and implement IT governance policies and procedures in accordance with the ISO 27001. Other standards like PCI DSS, EU, GDPR, collaborate with other IT and business units to establish and maintain a comprehensive IT risk management framework. Perform regular audits of IT systems, processes, and controls across all business units to identify potential risk and gaps in compliance, conduct risk assessments, and develop mitigation plans for potential IT security breaches. Maintain up-to-date knowledge of regulatory requirements, standards, and guidelines related to IT governance. Um, Develop and maintain strong relationships with internal and external stakeholders. Act as subject matter expert on IT governance, risk management. Ensure that all IT-related incidents and risks are appropriately documented, tracked, and reported. Collaborate with IT teams. And the list goes on. Conduct business impact analysis. Continuously monitor and evaluate effectiveness. So the key is being able to demonstrate, to be able to show that you are capable of executing all of these requirements. And each of these in itself is a complete task, activities actually involved in executing requirement forming regular audits, developing a strong relationship, or in this case, develop and implement IT governance policies. How it is that you go about developing these policies, procedures in relation to, for example, ISO 27001, PCI, EU, GDPR. So, guys, in the upcoming weeks, I mean, Pradeep and myself will definitely be getting into all of these line items, right? We're going to be going through the actual events or activities associated with each of these elements, so that at the end of this, then you would have achieved at least 13 tasks or 13 capabilities, knowing how to actually execute each of these individual components that you can actually add to your resume to say, yes, I'm competent in these areas and I'm able to execute these tasks um, to fulfill or act in the role of becoming uh, a GRC specialist or a GRC analyst, or just a GRC professional. I mean, these are some of the common roles. And for example, if I should compare this, for example, this is a IT GRC specialist, this is a senior cyber GRC specialist, right? And there are a number of overlapping roles, assisting implementation of security management systems, going back to PCI, ISO, assisted drafting, maintaining, enforcing policies, PCI, right? So guys, recognize that there are a number of overlapping, requirements that are asked of you as a GRC professional. And we are definitely going to be breaking these apart line by line and having some fun over the next few weeks to come. So guys, there we have it in a nutshell in terms of giving an idea as to what is involved in GRC from a practical perspective, as Pradeep has pretty much gave you that outline, that walkthrough of um, the GRC skill sets, experience, what is involved as it relates to governance, risk, and compliance. So in the next coming weeks, guys, definitely stay tuned, stay connected. We're going to be deep diving in building our skill sets in all of these areas in terms of meeting the requirements of this particular job description as is outlined for becoming a IT GRC specialist. So there we have it, guys. Stay connected for our future updates on the Cyber JA platform.